everybody, and welcome to this revision video on the coping strategies for stress as part of the psychological health and wellbeing topic for Stage 2 psychology. Let's get started. So, what are coping strategies? How are they defined? So, they're a set of tools and strategies that can be used to avoid or reduce burnout, distress, acute, and chronic stress. So in my previous video, I talked about these being the negative types of stress that can, in certain instances, lead to general adaptation syndrome or job burnout, which is obviously what we want to avoid. So the good news is that there are several proven effective coping strategies to reduce stress and promote positive mindset and well-being, even in very stressful situations or certain industries, like I talked about in my last video on job burnout. So they're basically strategies that we can use to cope with stress or stressful situations. So we can choose to obviously cope with stress in a positive way or a negative way. So often people will use coping strategies that are positive, so that aid in reducing stress in leading to positive outcomes, and then other people will depend on more negative methods to reduce stress that decrease mental well-being. So obviously that's what we want to avoid. So there are two options in terms of coping strategies and reducing stress. So there's the active approach, where we target the stressor, and do something about it, and more likely to lead to positive outcomes. Then there's the avoidant approach. So avoid or escape the threatening thoughts and emotions. This does not lead to the positive outcomes. So as we can see here, this is from your workbooks. So if we've got the approach strategy, so target the stressor and attempt to reduce it. All right, it's going to reduce unpleasant emotions associated with the stressor. All right, and problem-focused strategies aim to reduce the stressor itself. If we avoid it, however, so attempt to escape painful or threatening thoughts, that may mean that we start to depend on things that we shouldn't depend on, such as an increased risk of, drinking more alcohol or engaging in drug taking and things like that as a way to avoid or escape, or just avoid certain social situations or certain people, or avoid the job and so on. And that's actually not going to help with coping with the environment that we are in. So actually taking an active approach and targeting it and confronting it is going to be far more likely to reduce our stress levels, and something can be done about it rather than just avoiding the issue. Okay, so let's talk about the different types of coping strategies. So we've got problem-focused coping strategies. Again, this is from your workbook. The first one is time management. So the process of organizing and managing your time. This helps you to take control of your time and energy, and allows you to organize your thoughts and your timetable where it doesn't seem as demanding or overwhelming. So the benefits of effective time management physically. So with better time management, tasks are able to be met on time. You're able to produce better quality of work. There's also an increased likelihood of energy and motivation. Where you have more energy, you are more focused, you're more productive. So good time managers schedule their time and take regular breaks to keep their energy levels up, which is always a good thing. This is why we focus so much, especially in year 12 and sometimes in year 11, on your time management skills and making sure that they are at an acceptable level so you reduce your stress. The cognitive benefits, or the psychological benefits, I should say, all right, so better planning and prioritizing can help you feel more organized, so you are then confident about what needs to be done and in which order, so what takes priority over others. And again, this brings back a sense of control over the situation. This then leads to less procrastination and time wasting, and then feeling anxious or stressed about that later. Emotional benefits, all right, it promotes a strong sense or a positive sense of self-esteem, as you taking control over the situation and you start to feel better about yourself. The social benefits include time management, through time management might result in you being able to delegate tasks to other people so that they share some of the load of the problem that you are managing. So often it's very good to ask for help, so then you can have assistance in managing your time by getting assistance from others that are happy to help. Better time management can provide a better work-life balance as well. So this means more time for spending with friends and more time for pleasant activities that you would rather be doing. So by managing our time and getting the tasks that need to be done out of the way first, but still effectively, it leaves you time to, catch up with your friends and have a life without feeling guilty about it. So, sorry, if I just go back for a moment, just obviously keep in mind, this obviously links to the biopsychosocial model. All right, so we've got the physical, the biological, psychological, social factors of the biopsychosocial model, of course. Okay, more problem-focused coping strategies. Listening to calming music. I'm sure you guys have done this before. All right, it is a very, very effective technique. So music has a profound effect both on the body and the mind. So listening to calming music can quickly help us to enter a physiological state of calmness. So listening to whatever music you find calming, it doesn't have to be classical necessarily, but just whatever relaxes you is going to always be a good thing. Now, creating a safe and peaceful space. We all need a safe and quiet space we can go when we are stressed, either at work, at home, or at school. So I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, that you all have a safe, quiet place that you can go to at home and also at school. All right. So there's a particular room you go to, or an area of the school, or a person that you can go to that you can vent to if you need, or talk to if you feel like you need to get some stress off your chest. So this place is where we turn to whenever we need to take time out to reduce our stress level. So if you don't have a designated space or person at school, maybe have a think about who that could be or where that could be. Obviously, that's appropriate. Okay, problem-focused coping strategies, continuing on this topic. Meditation. So similar to listening to music, but meditation is a momentary reset during the day, such as watching our breath, even if it's just for 1 minute. This can have a big impact on our stress levels. So we talked about this in year 11, but there are several benefits of meditation, even again, if it's just a very short amount of time. Let's look at the biological benefits or physical benefits. So initiating the relaxation response counters the stress response. Becoming more mindful of the present moment slows your heart rate and breathing rate down. It reverses the impact, or reversing the impact, of the sympathetic nervous system. So this brings us closer to a relaxed state. So just doing a very quick meditation before a stressful test, or before a stressful time, or a performance, or a sporting match, or things like that, can actually help get us into the correct state. Meditation has been found to lower the functioning of the amygdala, all right, which is a part of the brain involved in our stress response. So it calms our brain down too. Psychological positive effects. The more we practice mindfulness and relaxation strategies, the greater our perspective of the stressful problem changes. So a shift in perspective can help us to better manage stressors when they arise. And there's an improvement in mood, emotion, regulation, confidence, self-esteem, and ability to pay attention. So it brings down our physiological responses, which then impacts us psychologically in getting a new perspective and helping us think a little bit more clearly about the situation. Social benefits, improving in social skills and relations as a result of being able to regulate emotions and stay in control on demand when we just need to take a momentary reset, or just do 1 minute meditation breathing exercise just to calm us down again. It improves our relationships. All right, another really effective way to cope with stress in terms of problem focused is exercise. So exercise provides an outlet and a release of physical stress by releasing the buildup of muscle tension that occurs when we are stressed. Now, I want to, pardon the pun, but I want to stress this, that it does not have to be an intense cardio or weights workout. So it doesn't have to be a full-on gym session necessarily. Simply just going for a walk can help. This is my go-to. I love just going for a walk with my dog. This really helps me a lot when I'm feeling overwhelmed with stress and a lot of work and a lot of other factors. That really works for me. Other forms of exercise are also beneficial, such as yoga and Pilates. Any sort of physical activity that's obviously going to be positive to reduce stress is recommended. So let's look at the benefits. So it depletes the body, physical benefits. It depletes the body of excess stress hormones such as cortisol, like I talked about before, and strengthens the immune system. So again, if we keep our body healthy in terms of exercise, it's going to help us obviously with stress, and it'll help us with sleep too. It reduces risk of illness and disease and assists with recovery from injury. So it helps maintain a healthy heart rate, healthy blood pressure, and general physical health. It relaxes tense muscles and produces feel-good hormones, including serotonin and endorphins. So it replaces the nasty hormones of cortisol and epinephrine and replaces them with good hormones like serotonin and endorphins. The psychological benefits, so cognitive, it reduces mental fatigue, it improves alertness and concentration and reduces anxiety. The emotional impacts promotes a positive mood because of the increased serotonin and endorphins from the biological factor. Empowers you to feel positive as you are taking a proactive action to make yourself feel better. So it increases self-esteem too. Social factors. When exercise is done in the company of others, this increases social contact and enacts our social support network, which can reduce feelings of having to deal with the stress or alone. And talking to someone about your problem can be seen as a problem shared as a problem halved. So as you're exercising, or if you're in a team sport like footy or netball or dance or whatever the case may be, chatting to your teammates or your partners can also really help you obviously get another perspective on the issue whilst you are obviously depleting the stress hormones from your body. So it obviously promotes that sense of being a part of a team and your teammates or your dance partners or, whatever physical activity or sport that you are involved in. So definitely lots and lots of benefits of exercise and conducting or participating in regular sport. So now that we have looked at the problem-focused coping strategies, let's look at the emotion-focused coping strategies that we can do as well. So journaling has a huge impact on our stress levels and can drastically reduce how anxious and stressed we feel. So keeping a diary or journaling in other words, allows you to manage emotions in several ways, such as being an emotional outlet. We can vent by writing it down in an appropriate way. We can brainstorm solutions and make lists and cultivate more positive feelings. So just writing it down actually does a world of wonders for stress and anxiety. Similar to that is something that I really recommend, which is a worry list. It's similar to journaling, but writing down the worries of the day and tomorrow can help calm the body down. This is particularly useful before bed. Obviously, this is why I recommend it, to aid in sleep, as it is a tool to reduce stress and not be tempted to be on your phone. So if we've got a really, stressful day tomorrow and we lie in bed awake thinking about all the things we've got to do, the assignment we've got due, and we've got to go to work, we've got all these things on, that's going to stress us out and then we're not going to be able to sleep. So actually by using a worry list and writing everything down before you go to sleep is a psychological cue to get it out of your mind and onto paper. Now, some people might think this is a little bit lame, but once they try it, it actually is seen as a very, very positive step into their well-being of reducing stress and promoting good sleep. So give it a try. Obviously, positive thinking. So being an optimist involves specific ways of perceiving problems. So ways that maximize our power in a situation and keeps you in touch with your options. So realizing that there are several options available, that generally speaking, everything will sort themselves out, and it helps with feelings of empowerment and reducing negative stress. So thinking on the positive side rather than always focusing on the negative side. I know that can obviously be far harder said than done, or it's easier said than done, but it is one of the best ways to tackle stress and reduce those feelings of anxiety, is by thinking of something actively in a positive way instead of a negative way. So those are the coping strategies for stress. So I hope you found this useful and maybe you can employ some of these to reduce your own stress levels. As always, if you've got any questions, let me know.